The late afternoon sun, a blazing forge of gold and vermilion, sank towards the horizon, painting the sky above Tenochtitlan Aztlan in hues mirroring the vibrant murals adorning the city walls. Below, the capital of the Triple Alliance pulsed, both ancient and startlingly new. Long shadows stretched across the intricate canals, reflecting the vibrant life on the Chinampus, the legendary floating platforms that remained the fertile heart feeding the metropolis. The air, filtered clean by vast systems, smelled of rich earth, blooming flowers, and the faint, clean aroma of activated biocrete, the unique scent of modern living stone. The city's sounds were a unique symphony, the near-silent glide of electric boats, the soft whoosh of solar aerial vehicles, and below, the constant flow of human voices. Nahuatl was dominant, but mingled effortlessly with Quechua, northern tongues, Arabic, Mandarin, Swahili, and various European languages, a testament to this global hub. Soaring structures of stone and biocrete rose beside ancient pyramids and temples, their surfaces adorned with geometric patterns and murals depicting history, cosmology, and modern achievements. Space launches, scientific breakthroughs, diplomatic exchanges. Tenochtitlan Aztlan, magnificent capital of the Triple Alliance, was the heart of a powerful, independent state that had shaped its own destiny for centuries, untouched by the specific cataclysm that had reshaped the Americas in another history. The divergence was subtle initially. In the late 15th and early 16th centuries, European voyages across the Atlantic either failed disastrously, ships lost, leaders perishing, or, if they reached American shores, their scale was smaller, intentions perceived earlier. Their limited attempts at permanent footholds were met with more unified, effective resistance from indigenous populations, whose numbers and societal structures remained largely intact. Crucially, the devastating sweep of foreign diseases did not occur with the same immediate, overwhelming speed and scale. Populations remained robust, civilizations resilient. Small, isolated European settlements might have clung precariously to existence for a time, perhaps even paying tribute to local powers, but the relentless, systematic wave of conquest and large-scale colonization seen in our history simply did not occur here for centuries. European powers, finding the path west blocked or too costly, focused their energies elsewhere, intensifying internal conflicts, seeking alternative trade routes and ventures in Africa and Asia, consolidating power closer to home. Without the demographic collapse and dismantling of structures, the major civilizations of the Americas persisted, adapted, and thrived. The Triple Alliance, Aztec. In Mesoamerica, integrated city-states under adaptive leadership blending ancient structure with meritocratic councils. States descended from the Inca in the Andes, culminating in the unified Andean Federation, and powerful confederacies and nations across North America continued their own trajectories. They adopted technologies and ideas selectively, interacting with the wider world on their own terms. By 2025, the Americas were home to vibrant, independent, powerful states. The Triple Alliance, with Tenochtitlan Aztlan, was a major global player, a hub of technology, culture, and commerce. Their technology, competitive globally, followed unique paths: sustainable agriculture, advanced bioengineering, superior crops, indigenous pharmaceuticals, biocrete, complex urban water management, solar, geothermal energy. Society retained aspects of historical structure, respect for community, social hierarchies, blended with modern political systems emphasizing communal well-being and ecological balance. Nahuatl remained dominant, but others were widely spoken. To the south, the unified Andean Federation, a marvel of high-altitude engineering, controlled vast territory. Their cities, high in the Andes or coastal, were wonders of infrastructure: high-speed rail over challenging terrain, augmented terrace farming, sophisticated resource extraction integrated with preservation. They excelled in civil engineering, geology, unique energy generation. Quechua and Aymara were major languages. In North America, diverse, powerful nations and confederacies existed. agricultural states in fertile valleys, technologically adept nations in resource-rich regions. Their paths varied, reflecting histories and environments, but all maintained distinct identities and sovereignty, interacting on their own terms. The rest of the world developed along different lines, absent the immense shockwaves from a conquered Americas. Europe saw different conflicts and industrialization. Africa developed along its own complex paths, largely spared the transatlantic slave trade scale, fostering powerful, independent states. Asia remained a primary focus of global trade for centuries, with powerful empires interacting with each other and with American, European, African traders. Global geopolitics in 2025 was multipolar. American states were significant, independent players, engaging in diplomacy, trade, and sometimes rivalry with European blocs, powerful African states like the Egyptian Sultanate, and major Asian empires. Trade routes were intricate, the Atlantic one artery among many across the Pacific, Indian Ocean, and Eurasia. Cultural exchange was two-way, involving curiosity, respect, and tension, free from a dominant narrative of superiority. Knowledge flowed in multiple directions. Our story centers on Ikal, a brilliant young bioengineer from the Triple Alliance, based near the Xochimilco Tecco Chinampas. His hands, faintly stained with fertile soil, moved with generations of precision, equally at home with gene sequencers or sifting earth. His work was crucial, developing genetically fortified crops against climate shifts. His research blended cutting-edge gene editing with millennia of indigenous knowledge on plant adaptation, symbiosis, the intricate relationships of crops, soil, water. He saw it as safeguarding the future by honoring the past. The Chinampa plot, tended by his grandmother, Sitlali, and cousins, a short boat ride away, was a constant personal reminder. Their livelihood depended on these crops. He remembered helping his grandmother plant maize, her hands showing him depth, murmuring ancient words of connection. That connection fueled his modern science. One crisp morning, as the sun cast shadows across the lab floor and the clean scent of biocrete filled the air, a sterile chime cut through the hum. His flexible screen, displaying Nahuatl script and global data, flared with urgency. Ministry of Global Health, via the Royal Society of Aztlan Sciences. An aggressive plant blight, a rapidly mutating Phytophthora variant, resistant to known treatments, was spreading terrifyingly fast through staple crops across vast Africa and the Middle East. Reports were dire. Satellite imagery confirmed the scale, existing interventions failing. A cold knot formed in Ikal's stomach, tightening his breath. Words like rapid global spread, staple crops, failing burned in his eyes. A catastrophe unfolding. The request, immediate access to his research, multi-stressor resistance, ecological biointeractions. An urgent invitation, an implicit command, to join an international expert panel immediately. Participants, scientists from a European consortium, the powerful Sultanate of Egypt, the technologically advanced Southern Han Empire, among others, sharing his research, years of work, proprietary sequences, methodologies intertwined with Anahuac's biocultural heritage. This knowledge was power, a strategic asset, pride for his nation. Sharing felt vulnerable. It resurrected caution from Elder Xochitl, the historical memory of outsiders viewing indigenous wealth elsewhere as theirs for the taking. Yet, a global blight threatened everyone. Maps showed its march, projecting famine. His work offered a potential key. Global responsibility crushed anxiety. Not just his research or nation's advantage, a global fire. His family's livelihood felt suddenly fragile, connected to distant fields collapsing. His struggle became terrifyingly personal. He saw his grandmother's hands. He sought out elder scholar Xochitl in the botanical archives. Her face, etched with wisdom and sun, framed by silver hair woven with blue-green threads, symbolized water and life. She held a specimen leaf, tracing its veins. He explained the crisis, the message, the terrifying request. Xochitl listened, thumb pausing. "The world burns, and we have water," she said, voice like rustling maize, soft, profound. To keep our water while others are consumed is not the way of Quetzalcoatl, not the balance we seek. Her eyes, clear and sharp, met his. But neither are we fools, Ikal. This knowledge was cultivated over centuries, through hardship and stewardship. It is needed, but ensure its sharing is not surrender. A true exchange, planting seeds for mutual growth, not reckless scattering, benefiting only those who would claim its source. She spoke of careful early interactions with European traders, resistance to impositions. Their strength was how they produced, relationship with the living world. Let the stories guide you, she finished, voice strengthening. Generosity, yes, but also resolve to protect the wellspring, its spirit. Her final words as he left resonated. Carry the spirit of the Chinampa, Ikal. Adaptable, resilient, rooted in deep water, reaching for the sun. He confirmed participation. Journey began next day. Maglev train across diverse landscapes, valleys, mountains, hinting at other nations, then transatlantic aerial vehicle to the Pacific Summit City. Looking down as Anahuac receded, he saw a continent of independent nations sending one mind to face a global threat. Multipolar world, diverse faces, unique strengths, historical baggage. Could they collaborate? Fate of millions depended on it. Flight was long, solitude broken by engine drone and racing thoughts. Reviewing data, rehearsing, feeling the world's weight. The Summit City on its Pacific island was pragmatic, a contrast to Tenochtitlan Aztlan's organic majesty. Gleaming, functional towers for conferences and labs, lacking a cultural soul. Sterile, efficient, built on neutral ground. Stepping onto the tarmac, Ikal felt the cool, dehumidified air, heard the low hum of desalinization, saw hundreds converging from globe corners. Translators buzzed, a layer of technical unity over deeper human difference. He observed delegates, Europeans, direct, pragmatic, from nations with different histories. Experts from powerful African states, commanding respect, deep knowledge of diverse environments. Scholars from ancient Asian empires, Dr. Li from Southern Han. Sharp-eyed, formidable geneticist. Professor Amina from Egyptian Sultanate. Calm authority, field expertise. Ikal, from Triple Alliance, walked among them as a peer, carrying unique knowledge. The conference room for the Phytophthora emergency panel was circular, symbolic of equality. Yet, seating, subtle body language. Initial guarded pleasantries spoke of complex geopolitics, professional rivalry, historical mistrust. Dr. Li, Southern Han geneticist, was precise, questioning pathogen mutation. Professor Amina, Egyptian delegation, calm, authoritative, expert in field observation, soil chemistry, arid agriculture. Dr. Alistair Finch, European consortium, pragmatic, focused on logistics, rapid deployment, chemical, breeding solutions. Ikal presented his work, connection between genetics and Anahuac agriculture, systems for resilience within environment, complex symbiosis. Data on multi-stressor resistant strains showed tolerance to heat, drought, common pathogens. This blight was new, terrifyingly effective. Presentation met with respect for rigor, but challenging questions hinted at skepticism towards traditional knowledge. Ecological holism. Dr. Li probed gene editing safety, off-target effects. Valid, but Ikal felt their integrated approach minimized risk. Professor Amina asked informed questions on soil microbiome, non-crop plants, recognizing wider ecosystem importance. A kinship Ikal felt. Dr. Finch focused on scalability, speed. Could traits be quickly introduced globally? Time was running out. Initial days were a grueling test. Patience, cross-cultural communication, collaboration against crushing crisis. Data streams from different nations used wild formats, metrics, reflecting distinct standards. Scientific terminologies, even translated, carried subtle nuances, leading to misunderstandings, debates over approaches. Genetic versus environmental versus logistical problem? Each leaned toward strengths. Ikal, advocating for ecological balance, translated frameworks, not just words. Discussions heated, Voices rose, reflecting pressure, clashing scientific cultures. Reports intensified urgency. Blight spread with unprecedented speed, outpacing quarantine. Satellite imagery showed vast green fields across Africa, Middle East, turning brownish-gray in days. Terrifying visual evidence. Economic models predicted famine for millions, billions in months. Stakes terrifyingly real. Room thrummed with fear. Panel worked around clock on stimulants. Sheer will. Sleep a memory. Meals over data screens. Room. Pressurized incubator of fear. Frantic effort. Simmering frustration. They tested existing resistant strains. Blight overcame them swiftly, adapting. Tried broad-spectrum antifungals. European proposal. Reports devastatingly negative. Harmed beneficial soil microbes, non-target organisms. Ecologically unacceptable to Professor Amina. And ultimately ineffective against mutation. Specific failure. Major proposed solution, backed by resources. Proved harmful, ineffective. Finch's face tightened. Pall over room, despair. Highlighted inadequacy of single approaches, raising stakes higher. A collective punch. Doubt gnawed at Ekel. Was Xochitl's caution about knowledge limits? His approach too specific to Anahuac to translate globally? Was he failing? Pressure immense, physical weight. Exhausted, isolated. Looked at blight data, thought of grandmother's Chinampa plot. Familiar stocks. Were they safe? Personal stakes overwhelming. He retreated deeper into analysis. Poring over blight genetic sequences, Dr. Lee, cross-referencing Anahuac's digital library, ancient codices, illustrations, farming records, frustrated with gene-by-gene view, needed to see system, relationships. Late one night, Summit city lights a blurred constellation, air conditioning cold. Professor Amina shared latest field reports from Egyptian desert fringe. Blight spread slowed inexplicably. Data, environmental readings, soil, native plant survey. Simultaneously, Dr. Lee's team presented high-res model of blight spore protein structure, the precise key to unlock plant cells. Ikal stared at Amina's report. Specific weed listed among few survivors. Hardy, drought-resistant, known in Nahuatl texts for perseverance. Protection against unseen forces. Planted near crops as ward. Cross-referenced database. Not weed genome, but symbiotic partners. Endophyte fungi associated with roots. Documented, used in ancient practice his grandmother mentioned for soil health/resilience. He saw it. Gene sequence in common endophyte fungus. Cross-referenced its protein output with Dr. Lee's blight key model. Breath hitched, heart leaped, fungal protein not identical, but shape. Binding site, astonishingly, functionally similar. Remembered grandmother explaining mimicry, confusing harmful forces. This fungus, not attacking blight, but mimicking plant cell receptor. Creating countless decoy locks in soil on surface, jamming blight's key before reaching cell door. Brilliant, elegant deflection strategy, rooted in symbiosis, utilized by ancestors, now understood molecularly. The weed isn't resistant itself, Ikal exclaimed, Nahuatl rushing out, then back to science language. It's a shield, a decoy! Fungus produces protein mimicking cell receptor, molecular camouflage, jamming key before cell. This slowed it in Egypt. Voice hoarse, trembling with discovery. Weariness vanished, electrifying energy. This was it. New paradigm, solution rooted in ecological interconnectedness. Molecular validation. Dr. Lee's team validated binding. Professor Amina's network confirmed weed fungus presence in slow zones. Dr. Finch calculated synthesis, genetic delivery potential. Challenge. Deploy globally, fast. Synthesizing protein too slow, cultivating fungus impractical. Gene for protein? Dr. Lee's team developed viral vectors. Harmless, deliver genetic payloads. Use that? Deliver gene for jamming protein into staple crops via targeted harmless viral spray? Plants become biofactories, produce lockjammer locally. Audacious, risky, required unprecedented validation, approval. But blight marched. Alternative, famine, working together with goal, panel moved fast. Ekal led genetic adaptation, fungal gene for expression in corn, wheat, rice, etc., ensuring safe integration. Anahuac protocols rigorous. Dr. Lee's team perfected vector delivery, scaled planning. Professor Amina's network provided test sites, ecological data. Dr. Finch, a European consortium, manufacturing vast vectors, global distribution and application protocols across nations, navigating air routes, customs, biosafety. Political hurdles emerged. Trust for genetic viral solution needed intense diplomacy. Some nations wary of genetic material from others, historical anxieties, biological sovereignty, prejudices, national interests lingered. But crisis scale, visible threat forced cooperation. Multipolar world, complexities, rivalries, united against common enemy. Cooperating not from trust, but pragmatic self-interest, dawning interconnectedness. Weeks later, exhausted but purposeful, Ekal flew home. Reports constant, blight spread, implementation progress. Woven in, first, fragile success signs. Trials with vector-delivered gene in unaffected buffer zones showing results. Amina's reports, visible recovery, new growth showing resistance where untreated plants died. Tiny victory in vast war, but proof plan could work. Vector manufacturing scaled up. Diplomacy secured agreements, pressured by ground reality. Blight far from defeated. Tendrils spread, mutations possible. Full implementation. Months, years, sustained effort. But path found, strategy born from combined knowledge, strengths, necessity across boundaries. Descent into Tenochtitlan Aztlan. City sounds rose, transport hum, faint voices. Looked down. Canals, chinampas, city lights, pre-dawn glow. Pulsing life, resilience, continuity. Thought of Xochitl's words, sharing wellspring without poisoning. Carried Chinampa spirit. Shared knowledge, not gift taken, but peace and global collaboration. His civilization, built on history, wisdom, tech, stepped on world stage. Played vital role facing humanity threat. Responsibility eased slightly, replaced by deep connection, home, world. Differences, complexities, rivalries, yet united in crisis. Towers of Tenochtitlan Aztlan met him. Testament to resilience, adaptation, strength of civilization flourished on own terms, facing future as integral part of global community. Fight not over, path found, illuminated by Anahuac knowledge, shared when world needed, proving ancient wisdom power in modern challenges. Rising sun touched volcanic peaks, light on floating gardens, life, continuity, hope for future built together.